You are more connected than any human in history, and you have never been more alone. The average person now has over 300 digital connections. Yet loneliness has tripled since 1980. What happened? And more importantly, what can you do about it? Stay with me, because the answer will transform how you see every notification on your phone. Here is the paradox that defines our era. We carry devices capable of reaching billions of people instantly. We have friends scattered across continents we have never visited. We witness weddings, births, and celebrations from strangers who feel like family. And yet, according to a massive study from Cigna, 61% of Americans report feeling lonely. Not occasionally, chronically. But this is not just an American phenomenon. The United Kingdom appointed a minister of loneliness. Japan has created government programs to combat what they call kodakushi, or lonely death. Australia declared it a public health priority on par with obesity. Something unprecedented is happening to human connection, and the answers lie buried in research most people have never encountered. What follows will challenge everything you believe about friendship, community, and what it truly means to belong. But here is the question we must answer first. Why does a generation with infinite connection feel infinite emptiness? To understand our isolation, we need to understand what connection actually means to your brain. Dr. Matthew Lieberman at UCLA spent decades studying social neuroscience. His findings revolutionized our understanding. When you experience genuine human connection, your brain releases a cocktail of neurochemicals. Oxytocin creates bonding. Serotonin stabilizes mood. Dopamine rewards the interaction. But here is what makes digital connection fundamentally different. When you scroll through social media or receive a like on your post, you get a tiny dopamine hit. Your brain registers reward. But the oxytocin, the deep bonding chemical, mostly absent. You are getting the appetizer, but never the meal. If this is changing how you see your daily scrolling, smash that like button so I know to go deeper. Your brain learns to crave these micro rewards. More notifications, more scrolling, more hollow stimulation. And each dopamine hit, without oxytocin, trains your neural pathways to prefer shallow connection over deep. But that is only half the story. Now let me shift your perspective entirely. What if I told you that weak connections might matter more than strong ones? Sociologist Mark Granovetter published a groundbreaking paper called The Strength of Weak Ties. His research revealed something counterintuitive. Those casual acquaintances, the barista who knows your order, the neighbor you wave to, the colleague you chat with at the water cooler. These weak ties create the invisible scaffolding of belonging. They are not replaceable by digital alternatives. Think about your pre-pandemic life. How many small interactions did you have daily? The grocery store clerk, the gym receptionist, the person walking their dog. Each interaction, no matter how brief, signaled to your nervous system, you belong here. You are seen. You exist in community. Digital life eliminates almost all of these. We order groceries online. We work from home. We stream instead of gathering. We have optimized efficiency at the cost of belonging. And this brings us to the Harvard study that changes everything about how we understand human happiness. For 85 years, Harvard researchers tracked the lives of over 700 people. The Harvard study of adult development became the longest study of human happiness ever conducted. They followed people through careers, marriages, health crises, and deaths. They analyzed decades of data looking for the single greatest predictor of well-being. It was not wealth, not fame, not career success, not even physical health. The director, Dr. Robert Waldinger, summarized the findings in one sentence. Good relationships keep us happier and healthier. Period. But here is the crucial detail most summaries miss. The quality of relationships at age 50 predicted physical health at age 80 better than cholesterol levels. People in lonely marriages had health outcomes as poor as smokers. Social isolation was as damaging as 15 cigarettes per day. This is not about feeling good. This is about survival. Your body literally deteriorates faster in the absence of genuine connection. And the next insight reveals exactly why our digital replacements are failing us so catastrophically. But here is what nobody is talking about. Everything I have shared so far, that is just the setup. The real crisis runs far deeper. Researcher Gene Twenge analyzed data from 11 million people and discovered something terrifying. In 2012, something changed. Depression and suicide rates among teenagers, which had been stable for decades, suddenly spiked dramatically. What happened in 2012? Smartphone saturation crossed 50%. For the first time, most teenagers had pocket-sized portals to infinite digital connection. And paradoxically, this was the precise moment genuine connection collapsed. Twinge found that teens who spent 5 or more hours daily on devices were twice as likely to be unhappy as those who spent 1 hour. Not correlation, causation. The data was devastating. And it was not just teens. Adults showed identical patterns. The more we connected digitally, the more disconnected we became in reality. If you are still here, you are one of the few who truly wants to understand this. Subscribe now because the solution is coming, and it is not what you expect. Let me put this in perspective. Ancient humans lived in tribes of about 150 people. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar discovered this was not random. It is the cognitive limit for maintaining genuine social relationships. Your brain literally cannot maintain true connection with more than about 150 people. Yet the average Facebook user has 338 friends. Instagram influencers have millions of followers. We have engineered a world where we simulate connection with more people than our brains can possibly process authentically. The result? Your social processing systems are overwhelmed. You experience what researchers call social snacking, endless tiny interactions that feel like connection but leave you malnourished. Imagine eating nothing but crackers. Each cracker provides something. But after 1,000 crackers, you would still be starving for real nutrition. That is what scrolling does to your social brain. And this is where the story takes its darkest turn. Because the companies building these platforms, they know exactly what they are doing. Former Facebook executive Chamath Palihapitiya confessed in a public interview, "We have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric." Sean Parker, Facebook founding president, admitted the platform was designed to exploit human vulnerability. "We understood this and did it anyway. These platforms are not accidentally isolating. They are engineered for engagement, not connection. Every notification is calibrated to bring you back. Every algorithm is optimized to keep you scrolling. Connection is incidental. Attention is the product. You are not the user. You are the resource being extracted. But here is what gives me hope. Once you understand the mechanism, you can break free." Dr. Vivek Murthy, the Surgeon General of the United States, declared loneliness a public health epidemic in 2023. But his report did not just diagnose. It prescribed. And the prescription is simpler than you might expect. The path back to genuine connection exists. It requires intentionality. And it starts with understanding 3 fundamental practices. Practice 1, prioritize presence over performance. When you are with people, put the phone away. Not on the table, away. Research shows that even a visible phone reduces conversation quality by 20%. Your attention is the gift. Give it fully. Practice 2, cultivate weak ties intentionally. Start conversations with strangers. Learn the name of your barista. Wave to your neighbors. These micro-connections rebuild the scaffolding of belonging that digital life dismantled. Practice 3, schedule connection like you schedule work. Weekly dinners with friends. Monthly calls with distant family. Quarterly reunions with old colleagues. If it is not on the calendar, it will not happen. But I want to add something the research suggests but rarely states directly. The cure for loneliness is not more connection. It is deeper connection. 10 minutes of genuine presence outweighs 10 hours of passive scrolling. Quality is not just preferred, it is required. Your brain knows the difference even when you have forgotten. There is one more piece to this puzzle that ties everything together. Remember the question from the beginning? Why does infinite connection create infinite emptiness? The answer is profound in its simplicity. Digital connection satisfies the appearance of social need without meeting the biological requirement. It is like drinking salt water when you're thirsty. It looks like water. It feels like water. But it makes you more thirsty, not less. Every scroll, every like, every notification convinces your conscious mind you are connecting while your nervous system screams for actual human contact. The mismatch creates a form of social starvation that most people cannot even identify. They just know something feels wrong. Something is missing, and they reach for the phone again, hoping this time will be different. But here is the beautiful truth hidden in all this research. The hunger you feel? It is not a bug. It is a feature. Your loneliness is your biology telling you exactly what you need. Listen to it. The path back to connection is not complicated. It simply requires you to choose real over convenient, deep over frequent, and present over performed. The research paints a clear picture. We are living through an unprecedented experiment in human connection, and the results are devastating. But devastation is not destiny. The same species that created these isolation machines can choose to use them differently. The brain that adapted to crave shallow dopamine hits can readapt to prefer oxytocin depth. The